what's up, everybody? Welcome to today's stream. We're going to talk about this is basically my final roster prediction for the 2021 upcoming season. This is serious. COD mode, man. You know how we do it up in here. So, man, I'm excited. You know, we have one more game to go, obviously, but it is time to kind of project. Now, we do have some updates as far as like some injuries and this sorts of things. So it's kind of affected, you know, what we've predicted, you know, on Tuesday when we went live on the Frisco report. If you missed that video, go check out that 53-man roster projection. This one here is my final one, and we're gonna break it down. All right, we're gonna go through it. Who's in, who's out, which rookies are in, which rookies are probably heading to a practice squad, and this sorts of thing. All right. So without further ado, guys, first of all, shout out to everybody in the chat box, man. I see everybody out here rolling up deep. So make sure you guys pound that like button. If you're a lurker and you haven't subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell for the notifications. All right. Dan the Man Cunningham, Jacob Trevino, Ted. See you out there. Donnell Jenkins, Jay Jones. A lot of the regulars in the house. Appreciate you guys. All right, so let's get right into this Dallas Cowboys 53-man roster projection. Let's break it down. All right, there we go. All right, at quarterback, I'm going with Dak Prescott and Cooper Rush. And obviously, we'll see how this thing shakes out on that final preseason game. But I think at the end of this thing, Cooper Rush just has a little bit more mobility, and you know, he doesn't really hang on to the ball like Gilbert does. You know, Gilbert, as good as he can be, he kind of, you know, that pocket presence is killing him. All right, so that's why I'm going Cooper Rush. Familiar with the team, familiar with our coordinators and everybody, so Cooper Rush gets the nod here. And let's look at the running backs. I'm going with Ezekiel Elliott, Tony Pollard, and that's it. All right, I'm going with two running backs, because that's what they've done that a lot of the times. They've gone with two running backs. All right, so I think this is the same here. Now, if Rico Dowdle hadn't got injured and hurt his hip, you know, there's pretty good consideration that he probably would have made the team. All right, that's not to say that they might keep another running back, but for right now, with this first one that's coming out, you know, on Tuesday, I think you're going to see Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard. All right, Tony Pollard making it. I do have a fullback making this team, Nick Ralston. All right, I do have a fullback here. I think this one here, you know, we finally have a you know, what do you call it, a glass eater, like Brian Broaddus calls it. Nick Ralston is this guy, gets in here and moves people. All right, and special teams, and he can give you some flex, you know, out of the backfield as far as like a halfback who has some hands. Okay, so I like Nick Ralston as far as making it. I think he's made a niche for himself on this roster, special teams especially. He's usually out there, one of the first guys making a tackle on special teams. All right, so, you know, Mike McCarthy, I think he does like to utilize that position before. He just hasn't had the right guy in there. I think we may have found one here with Nick Ralston, so I am carrying a fullback who will have a presence on this roster this year. All right. Let's go ahead and look at tight ends. Tight ends, I'm going with Dalton Schultz, Blake Jarwin, and Sean McEwen. I'm going with three tight ends. All right. Schultz is back. Jarwin is back. Sean McEwen still, you know, nursing the ankle, but, you know, they will keep him on this roster. All right. So going with the three tight end headed beast. I like all three of these guys. I think they're really good, and I like them a lot. I think they're all really good at catching the ball, and they all have a little bit of a different, you know, element to their game. You know, Blake Jarwin obviously can get down the field, you know, hit those soft spots. Dalton Schultz as well. I think he's really good at, you know, dissecting zone coverage and finding the soft spots in the secondary, and has soft hands. Sean McEwen, I think, you know, undrafted guy last season from Michigan, really made a big leap for me, and I like what he's doing. So three tight ends, going with three tight ends, Schultz, Jarwin, and McEwen. All right, let's go to the next position group. Wide receivers. Our wide receivers. You got a little glimpse of they tweeted out here, various people, John Machota and some of the others, as far as like who's going to be sitting in this game, and you did see all these guys will be sitting. It's kind of a little bit of a hint as far as who they don't want them exposed to injury. All right. And it should be no surprise that I'm going with Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, CeeDee Lamb, Cedric Wilson, and Noah Brown. And I do have Malik Turner as the final 53 guy that sneaks it in here. Okay. Malik Turner back from his injury. He got out there making big plays already in practice. Him and Dak making the connection already. All right, so Malik Turner made the team last year. He's making it again this year. All right, and the name here that obviously you do not see is Simi Fehoko. I just think that he needs a little bit more time, more development. Obviously, when it comes down to it, this is just a projection, right? Just going as far as what I've seen, all the reports and everything that is coming out of camp. Malik Turner, special teams ace, and I think he's gelling really well with this team, especially with Dak Prescott. But maybe they do want to go with Fehoko. Maybe they want to keep that fifth round guy. But status with this team, you're going to have these types of players. This roster continues to get stacked. You will see, this year and future seasons where draft status may not, have a lot of pull as it usually has in the past, because this roster is just so stacked. So fifth rounder, we'll see. But I do like Malik Turner. I'm going with Malik Turner there for that final wide receiver spot. All right, guys. Let's go to the next position. Offensive line. All right. Have some interesting ones here. Obviously, the ones that you want to look at: Tyron Smith, Connor Williams, Tyler Biadasz, Zach Martin, the Goats, La'el Collins. All right. La'el Collins with the stinger. You guys saw my video yesterday. Mike McCarthy gave a little bit of an update, said that he doesn't expect this to be a long-term situation, more of a short-term. So let's cross our fingers and hope that, I think we got like 12 days, for opening day. So hopefully that'll be enough for him to heal up, and hopefully that stinger doesn't come back. You know what I'm saying? So let him heal up. But, we'll see how he does in action if he makes it to week 1 against Tampa Bay. Let's hope it doesn't get re-aggravated, or else, like I said, we're going to be dealing with some issues there. But, obviously, La'el Collins, a no-brainer. Connor McGovern, Terrence Steele. Cowboys love this guy for whatever reason. I think we all see a few things here. He's a little bit more consistent, but still struggles with power, struggles with the speed rusher. You definitely don't want to see him out there, covering Chase Young. You don't want to see him out there, at either left or right tackle. I don't have faith in him. All right. Brandon Knight, I'm going with Brandon Knight. And to round it out, I'm going with Matt Forniak. Okay, the name that is missing from here, Ty Nsekhe. Ty Nsekhe, I kind of thought he was going to be a camp body from the get-go. Didn't see enough from him. Getting beat a lot. He looks every bit the age at 36 years old. So Ty Nsekhe, I don't have him making it. I think they feel better with Brandon Knight. Obviously with Brandon Knight, they got more of a look at him at guard. I still think, they'll use that flex, and he'll be that tackle. Him and Terrence Steele, all right, and Matt Forniak. Cowboys bumped him up in with reps in practice, second team, so they like him a lot. And this is just my projection, obviously. Now they might want to go ahead and maybe they do want to keep Ty Nsekhe. Maybe they want to keep Brandon Knight, and then maybe you practice squad Matt Forniak. But I think he's done a pretty good job for the most part, and it's somebody that you want to keep on this team. Whether it's keeping him on the 53 or practice squatting him. All right, so those are my guys there. And those are my guys there on the offensive line. Let's look at the defensive side of the ball, guys. I appreciate everybody that's watching live here, checking out my 53-man projection. Guys, make sure you hit the like button if you're watching this live or on the replay. So let's get over to the defensive side of the ball. All right, this is going to be interesting here, no doubt. Linebacker, Micah Parsons, Leighton Vander Esch, Keanu Neal, Jalen Smith, Jabril the Steel Cox. All right, that's 5 linebackers. All right. If you want to keep a 6-1, it might be Gifford, but that's probably about it. You know what I mean? I think I just don't know. Unless there's a surprise cut here or a surprise trade at the 25th hour. So, but that's what I'm going with right now. Parsons, Vander Esch, Neal, Smith, Jabril Cox. I think that's a pretty good linebacker core for the present and the future. All right, and when I talk about the future, I'm talking about Micah Parsons and Jabril Cox. All right, Vander Esch, they didn't pick up the 5th-year option. Jalen Smith, we don't have to kick a dead horse on that subject. So that's where I'm at with the linebackers, guys. 5. All right, and let's go ahead and check this out. Let's go down to the next defensive group. Vach Lombardi in the house. Appreciate you, bro. What's going on, man? There you go. I appreciate you, Vach. Appreciate you, bro. Let's get down to the next position group. Cornerbacks. Trayvon Diggs, Anthony Brown, Jordan Lewis, Maurice Kennedy, Kelvin Joseph, Nashawn Wright, and C.J. Goodwin. All right. C.J. Goodwin, he's kind of like your special teams ace as well, kind of like the Malik Turner type of guy, where you go a little bit deep, only because they give you that flex on special teams. That's why I'm keeping Turner. That's why I'm keeping Goodwin. So I think this, for the most part, this is a young group, right? When you talk about Diggs, Joseph, Wright, and you do sprinkle in some of the vets here: Anthony Brown, Jordan Lewis, and Goodwin gives you that depth. So who's going to line up opposite Trayvon Diggs against Tampa Bay? Early on it's been said it was going to be Anthony Brown. It probably will be, so don't be surprised by that. But I think as the season progresses, you're going to see, they're going to get a look at Nashawn. They're going to get a look at Kelvin Joseph. You might even get a look at Kelvin Joseph in the slot, somewhere. I think he gives you a lot of speed, some flex there where you can play him on the inside. You can definitely play him on the outside. I mean, you can't leave that speed off the field. So Kelvin Joseph, impact player. Probably not early in the season, but as the season progresses, these guys will get their feet under them at the pro level, and I think they're going to do good. Maurice Kennedy, I think that's a really good player. I really, before the season started, I didn't think he had a chance, but man, he's really played really well. To me, honestly, if it were me, I would probably start Kennedy over Lewis, against Tampa Bay. But, they do like their vets. These Cowboys do like their vets. Now, will Dan Quinn shake it up? Will Dan Quinn go, you legitimately have to go with your best players? And if that's the case, I mean, Kennedy has really outplayed Jordan Lewis. I mean, Jordan Lewis has had kind of a quiet camp, and I think Anthony Brown as well. So these two guys, I think, their jobs are definitely not locked in. You know what I mean? I think of your cornerbacks, the only one that's really locked in is Trayvon Diggs. Everybody else, these jobs are up for grabs, but I do like this core here, 4 cornerbacks. All right. Let's take a look at the next position group. Safeties. Donovan Wilson, DeMonte Kazee, Jaron Kearse, and Malik Hooker. All right, I'm going with 4 safeties. Could they go 5? Possibly. Who would be that 5th one? You could think about Darian Thompson if you want to stick with the vet, or do you want to move on? Would you want to keep Israel Okwamu? That's also a possibility. But as far as who's really been making the plays out here, Wilson, Kazee, Kearse, and Hooker obviously is your blue chipper that you're hoping that can get back to form. And to his part, he's been out there. He made a pretty good interception there in the blue-white scrimmage. So, He's out there making plays. He's out there in practice. It might just be more of a conditioning thing for him than anything. You know what I mean? So there's rumors that maybe that maybe they're gonna, you know, IR him or some crap like that. I don't think that they're gonna give him the Brandon Carr treatment. I think that you carry him, he can play. I like I said, I think it's probably more of a conditioning issue than anything else. You see him moving around pretty good. So I like this list here. 4 safeties for me. All right. Let's go to the next group here. Defensive line. All right. Before we get to it, sip of water. Shout out to everybody in the chat box. Appreciate everybody that's watching live and on the replay. Shout out to everybody in the chat box. I'll get to some of the comments here and commentary here in a little bit, but let's get through defensive line. The Marcus Lawrence, you like to see him coming back off of PUP, making practice, and this sort of thing. So it looks like he'll be ready for Tampa Bay. They're being very diligent with him, which is good. You got to have the Marcus Lawrence. Randy Gregory as well. Neville Gallimore, I think they'll carry him. I think he's questionable for week 1, but his injury is not severe enough where you want to short-term IR him. You know what I'm saying? So Neville Gallimore, I'm keeping him on the 53. I don't think there's a need to short-term IR him. You know what I mean? So keeping him on the roster. Will he play week 1? That'll be questionable. Osa Odigizua, he will be starting. All right, he's your starting 3 tech. He's good to go. He's not going to play in that final preseason game. Thank the Lord. The big boy, the wrestler, Osa Odigizua. Man, I really like how they've been churning this roster. They really have. If you think about this defense and the churning that they've done here since McCarthy came in here, I think he knew up front, like, we're going to have to throw some bodies. We're going to have to throw some draft capital at this. And they really have, if you think about it. Trayvon Diggs early. Kelvin Joseph early. LaShawn Wright, 3rd rounder. Osa, Neville. Those are early picks. So they're reshaping that defense. And I think you have the right guy now with Dan Quinn in here to really mold these guys into their own defense. But let's look at the rest of this guys here. Terrell Basham, I have him making the team. Free agent this offseason. Bradley Anai, I think, has done a really good job as a pressure player. I like the moves that he's got. He's quick off the line and that motor. You can't deny that. So I like Anai, 5th-round player. He is a McCarthy drafted player. So year 2 for Bradley Anai. I think you're seeing a difference here. He's getting the opportunity and doing a lot with it. Quinton Bohanna, the double, triple cheeseburger, whatever you want to call it. The big plugger. All right? The big plugger. This guy's been a really pleasant surprise. All right? We're talking about Quinton Bohanna out of Kentucky. All right? Quinton Bohanna, guys. Big guy, and he gets pressure. You know what I mean? I've liked what I've seen in him in the preseason. He'll probably get some snaps in this game, but definitely making the team. Definitely, you can pin him in. Okay, Quinton Bohanna. Carlos Watkins, former Clemson player, former Texan. Shout out to him. When I first heard the signing of Carlos Watkins, I kind of just was like, nah, probably a camp body. But to his credit, he's done well. He's done really well. So I like that. Brett Urban, the free agent, he gives you that flex. He's probably going to take over that Tyron Crawford type of, flex type of player. When you think about somebody who can play on the inside, stuff the run. Somebody that can play on the end there. Brett Urban is that player. I was hoping it would be Chauncey Golston, but he's probably going to IR. Unfortunate for him. All right. Excuse me. Dorrance Armstrong, I have him making the team. This is probably one of the better training camps, better off seasons that he's had here with the Cowboys. Dorrance Armstrong. But this is probably his final year. You know what I mean? This is And this is it for him. He's got to do something here. He's gonna try to probably latch on somewhere after this season. Rondell Carter, I think, is your last defensive lineman that makes his team, number 97. Now, this is kind of, you could go Rondell Carter, you could go, maybe you want to keep Justin Hamilton, but I think you have enough beef up the middle that Hamilton may not make it. Rondell Carter, I like him though. I think he's been a pressure player as well. In the same vein, kind of like Rondell and Armstrong and Bradley and I think these guys are pretty good pressure players. You know what I mean? They may not be, four down linemen, but that's fine. You have a good rotation in here, and I think Rondell Carter will provide some good snaps for you. Number 97, Rondell Carter. All right. And obviously to round it out, Greg Zuerlein, Brian Anger, and Jake McQuaid. Jake the Snake McQuaid. Okay, so Zuerlein, Anger, McQuaid. Those are the guys there. Now, if you want to talk about some of these other notable moves, I think you're going to hear about. You're probably going to hear IR for Tristan Hill, maybe even IR waive. That might be a possibility for Hill. I mean, the guy's just been nowhere to be seen. I think I've seen him a few times on the cords. I think they've moved on, man. I mean, they have. I think they're going with their guys. You know what I mean? They're going with their guys. So Tristan Hill might go IR, might be IR waive, injury settlement, something like that, possibly. Chauncey Golston's probably going IR. Josh Ball, the high ankle sprain, he won't be ready, and I think you got to get him in shape, this sort of thing. So I think Josh Ball goes IR, short-term IR for Josh Ball, short-term IR for Chauncey Golston. You know what I mean? So after 6 games, let's see what these guys are. Some practice squad candidates, I would say Simi Fehoko, Israel Mukwamu, Jaquan Hardy, running back. Vasher, if you wanna roll with that again, but they'll find they're gonna probably bring in some other people from other squads. So that's my 53-man squad, everybody. I think it's you can flip the coin on a couple of these guys, obviously. When you're talking about the defensive line, if you want to go 5 deep, they haven't gone 5 deep at safety in a long time. So I would really be surprised if they went 5. So that's why I'm going with these 4 guys: Wilson, Kazee, Carson, Hooker. Cornerback, I feel good about that there. Linebacker, I think they're gonna go 5 there. Offensive line here is where you could flip a coin on Nseki if you want to keep him. If you want to see if you can stash Forniak, maybe you practice squad him. But I think with Forniak, he gives you that flex at center and a guard. Let him build up that strength. Malik Turner, I think that he's good to go, man. He's good to go. Tight end, fullback Nick Ralston, and my running backs, quarterbacks. We'll see what Gilbert and Rush do in this game here. DiNucci, I think he's practice squad. For me, DiNucci has not done enough. Has not done enough to carry a third quarterback. Use that roster spot on somebody else. All right. I mean, DiNucci has to be practice squad, and even at that point, dude, like, I honestly feel you could find a better quarterback to run your practice squad than DiNucci. You know what I mean? So shout out to everybody in the chat box. Let me see if we got some comments in here. Can go over the lunatic. Appreciate you, man. TB12, say hello to RG94. Go Cowboys for life. Yeah, Tom Brady. Let's see how he can handle that rush, right? I mean, Randy Gregory's really shown out, that position. That's why I say Randy Gregory is one of these guys that you need to consider extending before the end of the season, because if he gets in that double-digit range, that price tag will go up exponentially. You know what I mean? So let's see what they do there. Let's see what else we got in the chat box, guys. Appreciate everybody watching live and on the replay. Yeah, exactly. Lincoln Blake. This roster has changed dramatically. Yeah, it really has, bro. Like it really, really has. If you really think about the defense, especially, it's a young unit. You know what I mean? Fresh blood. I love that. And even that offensive line, I think you're gonna have to, they'll probably have to throw some draft capital here pretty soon on that side there. But they really have churned the roster. They really have good look there. Lincoln Blake, appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you. Defensive line is where it gets sketchy. Yeah, it's I think that's definitely another area that they could get a some infusion. When you're talking about in the future, right? You talk about the 2022 draft. I think the trenches will get some love on both sides of the ball. You know what I mean? I think you will need another DE here really soon, and you're probably going to need another tackle. On the offensive side here pretty soon. Ted Gonzalez, head start to some frames, get the Super Bowl t-shirts hung up on that wall. Yeah, Ted, appreciate that. Appreciate that very much indeed. Shout out to you, Ted. Thanks for checking out the chat here. But guys, yeah, make sure you guys hit that like button there. April Showers in the house. Loyal subscriber, appreciate you. Appreciate you very much on that. Yeah, so we'll see where we're at, guys. Let's get through that final preseason game healthy, and let's let the cuts and everything shake out, and let's see what this 2021 roster will give us, and let's make that run, man. Let's make that run. We should be able to make a really good run at this division. All right, guys. So shout out to everybody. Make sure you guys hit like on your way out or on the replay. Bell notifications for everything comes out in the future. And that's it, guys. I'll catch you for the next one, guys. Peace, everybody.